There's no easy way to say this. You're being let go, is what HR told me about 24 hours ago. It turns out that I was my casualty of AI. AI is replacing my job, and it's time for me to figure out another way to make a living. But not all's bad. We'd had a plan years ago, and when we went remote in 2020 due to, well, a very strange event in the times around then, we bought this property. And we had dreams of turning it into our own way of living off the land. And now it's time to figure out if we can do that. But we got to take it one day at a time. I didn't prepare completely for this. You know, after being let go, I have $12,000 in my account and we've got a mortgage payment. Luckily, we've been pretty good with the rest of our bills. Our cars are paid off. I don't have any equipment to farm, but it's always been my dream. So today, we're going to start that journey and figure out if we can live off our land. Gosh, where to start, guys? So about 4 years ago, we did buy this property, and it used to be a farm years ago. You can see overgrown areas here, overgrown areas there. This area right here that we're cutting with our John Deere 110, this is our walking path, and that's been basically the most that we've done with it over the 4 years is I've maintained this area. There's another area that I started clearing out just for dreams of being able to start farming it, but not having the equipment or really the guts to start buying the equipment and jump into, you know, testing out, can we pull this off? So now I don't know if we have a choice, and we're gonna have to figure out how to make some income to then buy equipment to, you know, clear the land a little bit and start building some plots and possibly a garden to start with, maybe eventually get some animals too, and we'll see what is around town and needed. You know, I do know we have a lumber yard in town, so making some money off of cutting down we have a ton of trees here, and it would, you know, be something that we could make some money off of. And probably will do that. I just wanted to get our path as reestablished here as spring has really hit. And, you know, the wife and I do some walks on here, and I think that'll be the best thing for us to get our minds off of this tough time as we adjust and figure out what's next. But so far on this property, other than that little path, I've been, you know, maintaining the front yard here, making sure it gets all cut. So we got to get all of our daily chores done just to, you know, really start getting out of our own head and start planning what we're gonna do this month to make that difference. You know, the mortgage payment, it's about $2,500, so we're gonna have to make sure we establish, you know, a way to maintain our balance right now is really what I'm wanting to do, is figure out a way to make enough money that will, you know, last us another month basically to get by, and try to keep it around that cushion of $12,000, because that will give us a couple months of mortgage payment, you know, about, you know, 4 or 5 months. And if we can keep that going, we can survive, you know, and that'll be the first step is figuring out how to survive through this. And then the next step after that is going to be figuring out how to thrive. So I'm going to get busy here, just kind of keep to my own thoughts for a little bit and get the yard taken care of, and we'll figure out what we're going to do next. Well, the yard's starting to look pretty good around here. And, you know, just, you know, having a job like this to do around the property really, it gives you a little too much time to think. And I feel like the next thing I need to do today is just figure out a way to make some quick cash. And I think that'll start, you know, the healing process and maybe get some of the bitterness that I'm feeling, you know, out of my system and start moving forward. But boy, this is tough, guys. We'll get by. We'll figure it out. And yeah, let's take a look at the rest of the toys we have around here. We'll get the John Deere in the barn later on, but, you know, like I mentioned, the vehicles are paid off, so that's not something we have to really stress about, just maintenance, and do need a brake job here soon. But I bought this as a toy. Oh boy, why did I forget to cut that? We'll get that later. But I did buy this as a toy years ago. And at this point, well, a toy, and it helped out with some things around the property. But, you know, I always just had fun, you know, taking our path and cruising around. But I want to kind of take a peek at some of these trees that might be the best to get rid of. And eventually we'll want to start figuring out areas to clear that we potentially could put some, I don't know, some crops. But, you know, like I mentioned, we probably want to get a garden established. But yeah, these bushes are just so thick that we haven't really maintained. And this is one of our smaller trees. Might be one that we want to start chopping down. But I think I do want to, you know, head back in. We'll get in the truck. We got to go get some equipment. I don't have a chainsaw, which is, you know, a failure on my part for the years that we have lived on this property. But yeah, just this nice loop here. We get to just cruise around and probably take a nice walk on it. And it's always nice to get into nature and clear your brain and clear your thoughts. But yeah, let's get in the truck. Let's head down to the store, get that chainsaw picked up, and figure out what's next. Boy, I think the blades might be a little off on those. Probably gonna need new blades soon. It's not cutting even everywhere. Yeah, it could be worse. You know, we do have a good amount of property here that it's just gonna be a lot of work because it's overgrown. It used to be a farm, but I was talking earlier about an area that we cleared out, or I started to clear out, and that is right here. It's not the biggest area. You know, these trees probably still need to go and a little bit more of it. Probably do want to get back over there and start cutting the back a little bit before it gets overgrown. Looks like some of the farmers in town started to put lime down. It's getting to that time of year. Spring is here finally. Now let's get to the store. Get that chainsaw purchased. I was just chatting with a couple guys at the local hardware store, and they're very, you know, familiar with my property, and they know about the little path that we have, and they're telling me that if I just started collecting the grass there instead of mulching it like we are, we could potentially make a good amount of money off of some grass or even hay. So that's something we might look into. Definitely need some equipment for that. Could definitely look for like a starter kit. I don't know if we want to lease anything like that, but that's, you know, definitely an option for us. Jump on our Honda Rancher. We're gonna go out and find a tree to start cutting down. And I'm interested to see, you know, what kind of cash we can bring in. I don't know how much I'll be able to fit in this trailer. We're gonna have to cut it down to small chunks, and kind of thinking the bed of our truck we might be able to fill up as well. But yeah, let's go after this tree here. Definitely something I've been wanting to get rid of. So I think, yeah, try to get it to fall this direction. There it goes. Probably want to clean up these limbs a little bit and see what we can salvage to put in the trailer. Oh yeah, we definitely can carry them that size. So we'll start filling these up. Get these two back here. Looking good, and then chop the rest of this up, and I don't know, maybe we get a couple of these going. This is awkward. Yeah, there's a good approach right there. But we did get this entire tree to fit in here, and I don't have any straps, so we're gonna slowly cruise around, and I think I am gonna just transfer this to the truck, and we'll probably, I don't know, we'll see how much this fits in the bed of the truck. Is it bigger than this trailer? I think it probably is, so that might be our best approach. I just don't really like driving the truck back here. You know, it's a little heavier, get some ruts in the ground. Yeah, the bed of the truck doesn't look that much bigger, but we'll give it a shot. We'll see. Yeah, it definitely fit in this trailer a little bit better, but I don't think we want to drive this to the lumber or the sawmill. So we will, yeah, let's find out. Let's find out what this is going to bring in, because this is going to be a big, oh, that's not safe, but this potentially is going to tell us, you know, if this is going to be a way to start making money, to be able to buy equipment. Definitely would want a trailer to be able to put more logs on and cut down more trees at a time. But yeah, let's figure out where we're going. All right, my understanding is it's just up the road here, and it's at the farmer's market. They're gonna buy the wood from us, and it'll be the first, you know, indicator of how hard this new life is gonna be. So, hoping for a decent amount here. Honestly, I have no idea. That should be right up here. They said it was the second one. Come here. All right. This all unstrapped and let them know, and they'll give us a dollar amount. $735. That's not bad. That's not bad. What I want to do now, we have so many trees. So this is a possibility. So we have a little cushion. Oh, that's going to be rough. So we have a little cushion now with our $12,000, and we know that we have about $1,500 a month is what our mortgage payment is. Did double check that, and a little bit more expenses. So I'm going to talk to the wife a little bit and see what her thoughts are. Oh my goodness, I need to get a weed whacker right here. All right, we'll just see what the thought is about potentially investing in a trailer and making sure we just have enough money for the next few months and try to keep our balance at about 12 grand. Let's see how this conversation goes. Well, she made a pretty good point. We want to keep our balance around $12,000 just for that cushion. So we're looking online, and let me show you what I found. This PJ trailer is going to go for about $3,400, $3,450. So I need to get our balance up to $15,450 before we buy this. So the plan is to do a little bit of grinding. I hooked up the trailer to the truck, so realistically, we should be able to get double the load we got last time, and we'll just repair whatever damage, long term that the extra weight of the truck does on the path, and maybe it'll be fine, because we do drive it around here, and it seems to be okay. Yeah, I think we'll be good. So let's find a couple trees here, the same size ones. And we'll have to do a couple loads, but then that should free us up to get that bigger... Oh, here's one. Good. Okay, so that should free us up to get a bigger trailer long term. And I think that's probably going to be the best approach. So, yep, I'm going to get busy. See you guys in a little bit. Okay, didn't do much better loading that one up, but I think this is going to work. That's one tree down. We'll get this next one going. I just got lost, guys. There's the truck. There's the truck. Okay, let's get back out here. Yeah, this is the one we want to go after next, right here. All right, this doesn't seem super safe since we ran out of straps, and we're gonna just kind of go slow and, just preparing to get on the road. Let's put our hazards on. But, if we learned from the first one, it was about $735, so we're hoping for about, $1,400 for this one. And then, maybe doing this 2 more times after that should get her done. All right. We have arrived. Of course, get everything unstrapped here. Learn a little bit about 2 at a time. Yeah, $1,436. Okay, so we got about $1,700 more to go. So I'm gonna get home. We're gonna get, like always, we're gonna stay busy, and we'll see if we can pull this off. We're gonna. It's just got to do the hard work to earn things, and starting to feel a little bit more confident that this is going to work out. So just got to put in the hard work. It's a little different than sitting at a computer and working on software. So the body's going to be sore tonight for sure. Well, I wanted to see if this was a smarter, not harder way of doing things. And I've cut down, 6 trees, and I'm just taking the big parts on this load. And I want to see if that's going to really push us over this dollar amount. I think it might, so wish us luck. All right, we've arrived. Moment of truth here, where we find out if I'm being lazy or brilliant. That was $1,600. I need $100 more. Oh boy. I mean, it did seem to help a little bit, so let's go get the rest of those loose pieces and bring them back, and that should put us over the edge, but we'll have to chop those down into more easier to transport pieces of wood. And I hope nobody saw me run that stop sign. Well, I cut up a couple of these. You can see we have a handful left. There's that one. Yeah, these 4. So I'm hoping this is enough. It's gotta be, right? Let's go find out. This was a decent amount. These trees they're pretty good. They're doing good income for us. I'm pleasantly surprised. Okay, moment of truth again. Let's see. Oh, 1,000. So we have a little bit of a cushion. So I'm going to drop this trailer off at home, and we're going to head on over to the dealership and get that trailer purchased. All right, here we are. They should be pulling it out for us right now. I'm going to go in there and pay them for it. Some great progress today. Yeah, with another $900 extra in our accounts, done pretty good for ourselves. So let's get home. I have a little bit of a plan on what I want to do, spend the rest of my day working on. And the first thing I need to do is see if we need to make an adjustment to our mower to see if we can get it to drop grass instead of cutting it up so small that it's not worth collecting. But tomorrow we're going to get to work big time on cutting down a lot more trees and making a lot more income so we can potentially start looking at some real farming equipment. You want to make sure this thing stays in a good shape. You know, want to take care of our new equipment, so I'm going to park it in the barn for now. But yeah, let's see if we can make an adjustment on here and head back out to our path, because, you know, there's plenty of more grass here that we haven't cut. I usually don't go any wider, but it seems like today might be a nice day for that. So I made a small adjustment, and yeah, look at that. It's spitting out grass instead of... Yes, this is what we wanted to see. So, you know, I'm not sure how much product and you know, how much hay we could make off of this, or, man, we're gonna have to figure out a way to get some equipment to collect this grass, but I don't know. Something tells me to do this next, so we're gonna do that. Going with my instincts. We've made a little bit more money than we needed to today. So I'm gonna stay busy on what's potentially gonna be our next revenue stream. Well, we made a good amount of progress, and I think this is probably where we should call it today. I'm getting pretty exhausted here. Need a good meal. And I think, yeah, we were going to let this sit overnight. So I'm going to look into some options of some equipment in town that we could purchase to help us really, you know, maybe bale that up and turn it into some grass or hay. Still need to do a little bit of research tonight on how I want to go about that. But that looks like a little piece of wood that we were pushing around with us. No wonder it was struggling a little bit. First day of this new adventure, going pretty good. We've made enough money to buy a brand new trailer. Got some grass cut, some more trees that we're going to take care of next time. And I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me on this new adventure on the channel, and also this new chapter in life. I'm Socksway Up. I will catch you on the next one.